Good. Let me try that again. Good evening, and a very warm welcome to the latest outing of the Breakfast Show After Dark. Tonight's show has a single theme: electric earth-moving equipment. Now, I'd love to say that the theme of the show was my idea, but it isn't. In fact, the all-electric show was actually suggested by a certain Mr. Gary Muirhead, who appropriately was the first person in the chat. So good evening, Gary, and thank you for the idea. In truth, it does feel like an all-electric show is now way, way overdue. We've been talking about electric equipment since the very first episode of the Breakfast Show, way back in March 2022 or thereabouts. We've discussed at length the pros and cons of electric machines, and along the way, I've had the great pleasure of driving a few electric machines too. You have to bear with me 1 second. I may make it all the way through the show now. So tonight, we're going to bring all of that together. And we've got some films for you that you may have seen and some that you most definitely won't have seen. We've got films from some of the manufacturers themselves and some that are entirely of our own making, and they are getting their global debut right here on tonight's show. The one thing they all have in common, however, is that they are all electric. Now, before I get into the first film, I've got two things to tell you. The first is that we do have a prize giveaway tonight. That's what it looks like. It is a mobile phone charger, kindly provided by the fine folks at Kinsoffer. Seems appropriate. Charger for an electric machine show. If you'd like to be with a chance of winning that, I've got a banner for this. All you need to do is type the word electric, ELECTRIC, into the chat, and you will be entered into the prize draw. We'll be drawing that at the very end of the show. The banner is now live. I hope you can now see that. Now, as I say, we're going to draw that at the very end of the show. And there's just one more thing before we get started. Normally, when we show you a new machine, we ask you to vote on whether you believe it to be hot or not. Instead, if you're really impressed by a specific machine tonight, we'd just like you to type the word yes or no into the chat. And assuming that the yes votes outweigh the no votes, we will declare the machine to be electrifying. In fact, I won't be declaring it electrifying. John Travolta will be doing it for me. It's electrifying! Yeah, thanks for that, John. Really appreciate your input. Now, it is time to get the show underway, and I thought we'd start by illustrating that electric machines come in many shapes and sizes. We're going to be showing you a big machine from Liebherr in just a moment, but we're going to start with something small and perfectly formed from the other end of the spectrum, from Komatsu.
The future of construction is evolving. An all-electric, no-hydraulics excavator that you can operate at your fingertips. Just like a video game. This future is not too far away. A machine operable by anyone means a site inclusive to everyone.
Yeah, just a quick one to get us started. Obviously, that machine was designed for quarry and mine applications. When it comes to big electric machines, I think let me go back. I've missed a slot here. That's one end of the size spectrum, as I was just saying. Here's something from the other, from our friends at Liebherr. Now, before we go any further, I do need to go over to the chat because we've had a bunch of people arrive. I've already said good evening to Gary Muirhead. I did ask Gary if he's got the rain yet, because obviously he's up in the Scotland. And is it Storm Bobcat, that is headed our way? It's not there yet, apparently, but it's headed that way, batten down the hatches. There would be a certain irony to the power going out while we're talking about electric machines, wouldn't there? But I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. Mark Whiting's here as well. Good evening, Mark. And good evening, Mark. Back to you as well. Graham Footy Williams is here. Good evening, guys. We're in a bottle of beer, a Beasting cider rather, 6.8%. And they've got a Chinese coming. That's the way to watch this show. Decent food, decent drink to take your mind off the nonsense that's on the screen. Fantastic stuff. Our friend Garvin over at Mostly Diggers says, evening, Garvin. Thank you very much indeed for being here. God, was wet, miserable evening, just off the train on time. Yeah, I've just been and picked my wife up, and it is bloody horrible out there. So I don't blame you for tucking in and joining in. Now, we've got lots of entries coming through. How many have we had so far? I can't actually see, but we've got entries coming through. But I did ask you to say whether you believed a machine to be hot or not, or yes or no. And the first one that we showed you was that Komatsu mini excavator, and Dan Cullen has declared it's electrified. I may never tire of doing that. Right, let's get these. Actually, we've got a few more hellos to say. Al Grierson has arrived. No show is complete without Al. Good evening, Al. All the way from Luxembourg. Hope you're fitting well, my friend. There's Ken Hatcher. I remember an electric mining shovel 30 years ago. Yeah, absolutely. They've been around a while. There is our friend Tim Meaney from M&M Demolition. Evening, Tim. Thank you for joining us. Entries for the competition coming in. There's Tom Whiting saying, good evening. Thank you very much indeed for that. How many are we up to? I think I can actually see the thing now. We've got 6 entries so far. So you've got a 1 in 6 chance of winning that beauty. That right there, in case you can't see it, that is, let me turn it. There you are. Electric charger, a wireless charger for your mobile phone. Fantastic. And there's another vote for yes. I won't do John Travolta quite yet. I'm going to save him just for a little bit. Now, obviously, that Liebherr machine was designed, obviously, for mine and quarry applications. When it comes to big electric machines for the construction sector, I think this unit from the fine folks at Volvo is probably the current top dog.
Hello and welcome. Today we're going to learn a little bit more about the EC230 electric machine. And with me I have Remy, the product manager for Excavator. Hello Remy.
Hello Paulina.
Could you tell me a little bit more about this machine?
Yeah, for sure. Today we have with us the first large electric excavator from Volvo CE, which is the EC230. We are very proud to show you today this machine, which is coming after the successful launch of the compact electric range of loader and excavators. The EC230 will offer the same features as the EC220, which is the conventional machine in the same size class of machine. We can bring the same tool size, we have the same digging forces, the same lifting capacities, with the added value to have less noise and 0 emissions. This new machine is equipped with 4 battery packs, ensuring the operator to be able to work during 4 to 5 hours in general purpose applications. We are here on the right hand side of the machine. Inside we will find the hydraulic pumps, which are exactly the same as the EC220, the conventional machine, meaning that we have the same performance of the machine. These pumps are now driven by an electric motor, meaning that we are consuming the electricity only when the operator needs to work with the machine. In other words, the idle time is gone. This brand new machine will help our customer to get a free CO2 job site. To help them also in the power supply, we are looking after some solution and some technology, for example a container with battery inside, to have the power supply on the job site, also fast charger or onboard charger, as this machine is already equipped. At Volvo Group, we are also providing a full range of machines. We have the FE trucks from Volvo Trucks, we have also the compact machines and now the large machines for the construction segments. Actually, the EC230 is on customer field test and then only available on selected markets. These new machines will drive our activity in a new era.
Now, I'm going to hop over to the chat in just a second because I've been beaten to the punch. Tonight, as some of you are already aware, or today rather, should I say, Graham Footy Williams is celebrating a birthday. He's 62 today, and I've actually got a note to myself for about halfway through the show, but he has mentioned it, so I'm going to do it now. There you are. Thank you for doing this on my birthday. Most appreciated. Thank you for all wishing me happy birthday to all you brothers. I think that is surely deserving of some of this. Happy birthday, Footy. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. And giving up your birthday, or your birthday evening, to sit here and watch this old nonsense. Surely there must be something better on the telly. Now, let me go back to the chat. Mick Norton has arrived and says, good evening, Mark. Good evening to you as well, Mick. Thank you very much indeed for being here. He's entered the competition as well. Now, I'm going to go back to a comment from our friend Garvin over at Mostly Diggers. He says, that Komatsu was painful to watch at Bauma. I understand R&D is essential and always happening, but it was such a poor performance that I would have kept it in the lab until it was much more evolved. It was truly awful. And I'm a Komatsu lover. Maybe that's why I was extra disappointed. Now, funnily enough, I obviously saw the same demonstration as Garvin. There was that machine. There was also, I think, is it the PCO one? And then there was another machine as well, all in kind of an indoor space. When I saw that machine, it was okay. It wasn't going to set the world on fire. It was basically digging a sandpit, but it was okay. Maybe I just got lucky, or maybe you just got unlucky. Not entirely sure which way around that is. Al Grierson, all the way from Luxembourg, has said, went to the Kiesel German Hitachi dealer open day. Kiesel and K-Tech, have to say, doing some phenomenal stuff in the field of demolition machines. They were showing the power tree, containerized charging and power storage, and the 85 and 135 electric diggers. Impressive and quiet machine with about 6 hours of operation on a full charge. Like to have seen that. Gary Muirhead, again, showing his love for all things steel wrist. Volvo and steel wrist, the perfect partnership. I'd find it hard to argue with that, to be honest. And got a great detailed walk around of the EC230 from the lovely folks at SMT at Mat Expo. Also impressively quiet when the pump kicks in. Yeah, I saw it in, where did I see it? I saw it in Frankfurt, didn't I? I did see it in Frankfurt. And yeah, didn't do much in the way of operating, but they started it up and you barely notice. There's lots of people saying happy birthday to our friend Graham Footy Williams. Dan Cullen says, I'm mixed on this Volvo. Fair comment. Just past a stall selling Christmas trees. We've had Christmas decorations in our local supermarket for about a month now, so no great surprise. The others are fine. Just that robot. The electric rams were harmless, he says. It's all fair comment. Early days, I guess. Now, I think it's time for one of our own exclusive films. These will take a little bit longer because they're bigger and I have to upload them from my computer. Now, regular viewers will know that I was over in Germany with Wacker Neuson recently. The company was showing off a whole bunch of new electric machines. And the one that I'm about to play you was the pick of the bunch. Now, bear with me because I need to dredge this from my computer just as soon as I can find it.
I'm trainer here in the academy in Reichertshofen for Wacker Neuson. This is our new telehandler, the TH412. It's a telehandler with a maximum stocking size of 4 meters and a maximum payload from 1.2 tons. Size 4.12 is the most sold model in the complete group. We sell from the TH412 combustion and electric in agriculture and on the construction side, size more than 1,000 units each year. So we have 3 steering modes in the machine: the all-wheel steering, the front axle steering, and the crab steering mode. The technical data from our TH412E: the stacking height is more than 4 meters. The maximum payload is 1.2 tons. We have 2 sizes of battery. The standard battery is 18 kilowatt hours and the option battery is 28 kilowatt hours. As charging system, we have onboard in standard and 3 kilowatt charger, and as an option, a 6 kilowatt charger on board. And that means that we have a charging time of 3.5 hours for the small battery with a 6 kilowatt charger and 5.5 hours for the bigger battery. The running time with the standard battery with 18 kilowatt hours says that we can drive 3 hours, and with a big battery with 28 kilowatt hours we have a driving time from more than 5 hours, but it depends on the application, of course. In the joystick you can drive forward and backwards with the orange one, and here you can extend or retract the telescopic arm. When you move the joystick forward, the arm goes down. When you move it backwards, the arm goes up. Inside and outside is to move the bucket. We have in series 3 kinds of vertical lifting system modes. At first, the hand mode, so you can extend and retract the telescopic arm by yourself, like you want and like you need. In the bucket mode, the arm goes up while pushing back the joystick and extend with the thumb. And when you drive backwards and put the joystick in front and the arm goes down, it retracts automatically. In the stacking mode, the extension goes automatically while lifting the arm, so that the weight is in every position close to the machine.
Yeah, thanks to our friend Horst for giving us a look around on that. Now, I do need to throw over to the chat because there's lots and lots going on over there. Now, what was the first one that I wanted to bring up? Al Grierson says there will be a new 15-ton electric rubber duck from, I'm assuming that's from Volvo. Some fascinating new ideas to increase the range. There is only one company mentioned in this show tonight twice, and that is Volvo. I think over here on hydrogen, I think JCB have probably got a bit of an edge on everybody else. I think over here on electric, my personal opinion is that the fine folks at Volvo have the edge, which is why they're going to be featured twice tonight. We mentioned Christmas trees. Our friend Footy, celebrating his birthday, just said humbug. Rightly so. Awesome. Defo, yes, awesome little tool, which, as we now know, requires us to throw back to John Travolta. It's electrifying! What a ridiculous way to earn a living this is. Let's have a look. Mick Norton says, USA President Biden considering feasibility of changing entire presidential fleet to electric. This would include the 16-litre diesel limousine, the Beast. Great PR stunt, but really, in America, can you honestly imagine it? I can't see it myself. James Lane, haven't seen James in ages. Morning. Good evening, James. Thank you for joining us. Think construction will be ahead on this before ag, which is surprising given the fact that, ag is so much to do with the environment, but interesting to note. Our friend Tom Whiting says, love the 412, the Wacker. It's great fun to drive, he says. He's just entered the competition as well. And we are at 11. Yeah, you're down to 11-1 chances of winning the mobile phone charger. James Lane has given us a weather report. It's dumping it down in Suffolk, apparently. Neat little telehandlers, those Wacker Neuson machines. Yeah, I took it for about a 20-yard spin. Very good it was too. And there's our friend Manuel says hot, which is exactly the same as yes. So we'll have some more John Travolta in a bit. I like the telehand, looks pretty cool. We used to have a ticket to use that very nice machine. Battery looks pretty good. Yeah, Wacker Neuson, we've got a film coming out fairly soon. In actual fact, we've got a dedicated Wacker Neuson show coming up. I'll tell you more about that as soon as we've actually fixed the date. But they have this one battery system where all of their compaction equipment, all their electric compaction equipment, all has one battery. So much like Ryobi in the power tool market, you can do you get the idea, you compaction with one of those and you pop the battery out, put it in something else, and then you do your back and forth. You get the idea. Al Grierson says the new duck is from Hitachi. Okay, so electric from Hitachi, not from Volvo. Still be looking forward to seeing it. Dan Cullen says McNaughton now. Reference back to Christmas. As I've always said, told the grandchildren, Santa Claus is dead. Children, if there's any children watching, The lovely man is just joking, honestly. Graham Footy Williams, I would like to have a go on that rubber duck or Volvo's electric just to see how it operates. Can you arrange it for me, please? Volvo, if you're watching, there's a guy here who wants to take one of your machines for a spin. Mostly diggers. Garvin says Wacker Neuson are always evolving, sensible probing of different ways to do things, different alternative features. I know I could bore for England on this subject, but there are, to my mind, there are two companies that kind of are over here. I love the innovation from the likes of Volvo and Komatsu and Liebherr, and I love all of that. But then over here, just off on their own slightly, is Wacker Neuson and Mechalak doing weird stuff. I almost said shit. We're doing weird stuff. They're over here ploughing their own furrow. I love them for it. James Lane says it's more the weight of batteries needed, I think. Fendt has a small electric machine now, and there are some niche models coming out, but is hydrogen going to be the future? I suspect so. I think a lot of people in the audience would probably agree with that. The only problem we've got is we don't actually have the hydrogen yet. Obviously, there is hydrogen. It's all about us. Look, that's how hydrogen looks. It's all about us. We just need some way of harnessing it and putting it where we need it. That's the bit that needs to come, but it will. Unquestionably, it will come. So let me throw that off the screen. Where was I? Yes, we've just done Wacker Neuson, so it's time to do something a little bit different. We have no, we will be back with one of our own films in just a moment, but no equipment show. Let's be honest, no equipment show is complete without a bit of Caterpillar. So let's have a look at one of those now.
So we're physically at Glencore, their Nickel Rim South facility, just outside of Sudbury in Ontario. They're mining nickel, gold, silver, copper, some other precious metals. It's an all hard rock application, and we're about 4,700 feet underground. They're running primarily R1700G loaders. We have a little bit of tramming up and down, but primarily it's a flat application where they're transfer mucking. I am here today at Glencore as a tech lead for this program during the field follow for the R1700XE and the MEC 500 for general testing and tuning in order to help make our machine as efficient and optimized as possible, alongside working with the dealer to further train and help develop them as technicians for these machines.
The XC has been a long time coming. Since it's been here, has been very, very successful trial. We partnered up with CAT to make a better product.
So the R1700XC is a fully battery electric vehicle. The MEC 500 is a unique charging solution to fast charge the R1700XE. Battery electric is important for underground mining primarily because of the opportunity to go after resources or bodies that were otherwise not feasible due to the expense to get the air, whether it's refrigeration or ventilation, with a diesel machine. Battery electric makes it possible to go after those resources with significantly lower CapEx and OpEx expenses.
Going electric has been a big change. It's a total 180. You're integrating electrical and mechanical, which wasn't the case before, and that's the learning part. Like as a diesel mechanic, that's all we've always associated with, right? There's always an engine attached to it, and now they're batteries and it's quiet.
And it performs really well. On a production standpoint, it's going to probably outproduce a diesel from what we can see. And for environmental, it's amazing. Like it doesn't throw the heat and the smoke and the dust like the diesels do. So it's very positive. And I think that's why Glencore and Caterpillar need to have these relationships and field follows and iron out all the bugs, for the future.
Tormont helps our customers get the most out of our Caterpillar products through the unique and very close working relationships that they have. On-site support, close-by dealer network, parts availability. These guys are the bridge between Caterpillar and the customer that enables the type of service that they need to keep their production operations up and running every day.
My typical day would be responding to customers' needs and following up with services, planned maintenance, breakdowns, and keeping the wheels turning, keeping the mining machines going, all safely. I have such a good support team. If I don't have the answer to something or if I'm stuck with something, I can call any one of the guys on my team and they're so quick to have an answer. And if they don't have an answer, they'll find it for me.
When you think about the relationship and the importance of the dealer to the customer, as a CAD engineer, I see the value because it provides the customer with that immediate support that they need in the region, the local site where they need it. Caterpillar provides the dealer the tools, the parts that they need to be successful, and the dealer works so that the customer can be on time every time to meet their production goals. Specifically with the XE program, the dealer has come up to speed very quickly with this new technology.
This is the first one underground, and I'm lucky enough to be involved in it and watch it progress and be part of developing it. We're still figuring out ways to make the machine better. We're collecting data on this machine that we're using to improve it, so stuff that was going wrong with it isn't going wrong anymore. I think that's critical.
So the thing I enjoy most about being a Caterpillar engineer is the ability to both develop something new that is going to help our customer be successful, but also build the relationships with the individuals you get to work with along the path of that development process. It's been a very rewarding experience.
It's always been a good relationship. The people change at Glencore. People change through the ranks and retire, and the same thing happens at Toromont and Cat. They come and go and get promoted or whatever it is. But that relationship's always been a very good one.
So I'm both proud and excited to see Toromont, Caterpillar work so closely together to provide the support and the solution for Glencore to be successful in what they need to do over the next phase of their projects that they have here in the Sudbury area. Because when they're successful, we all are successful.
Was it just me, or did that Caterpillar engineer, John Bauman, look just like Dan Cullen? Anybody else spot that? Now, I'm going to throw back to the chat for several reasons. Key among them is this. Our friend Manuel is actually with Wacker Neuson. Not only is he with Wacker Neuson, he is head of their zero emissions program. Evening, Manuel. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. If anybody would like to know anything more about Wacker, now might be the time to ask. I'm not entirely sure how long he's going to be sticking around for the show, but he is the man in the know. So if you've got any questions on Wacker Neuson and all things electric or zero emissions, then please, now is the time to fire away. I'm going to throw back to the Graham Footy Williams agrees. It does look like Dan Cullen. Thought it was. No idea what that's all about. Let's have a look. No, we'll ignore that completely. I've heard of a doppelganger, but I've never seen one. Well, you have now. Well, you never know. Or that French chef too. French chef. Which French chef is that? We've had another entry, I think, for our competition. Yeah, we're up to a dozen now, which is good news. Well done for Cat for supporting the customer. Yeah, one of the things that I do find interesting within the not just in electric, but in the field of mining, is the way that there is this partnership between the major manufacturers and the actual mining companies as well. And when you look at the electrification and hydrogenization of those mines, you've seen the likes of Liebherr, Caterpillar, Volvo, and Komatsu all getting into bed with mining companies to push forward this sort of program. McNaughton says, I must admit, I'm impressed with the Cat electric product working underground. It's hard not to be. Just trying to make sure I've got to the right place. It's amazing how those underground mining loaders will never see daylight ever again after transport. Yeah, absolutely. I've been in a few of those mines, not the deep ones, but I've been in deep enough, and it really is. It's a whole other world. And yes, they are likely to spend their entire life there and beyond, quite possibly. Let's have a look. The French chef from the Muppets. The chef from the Muppets was Swedish. Surely people know that. Dan Cullen is saying, I want to go on an electric Wacker Neuson. If you are still here, Manuel, then please get in touch. We have a fan in the room, and he would like to have a play. They're only up in, where are they, Stafford or thereabouts here in the UK. But if you do get a chance to go to Wacker Neuson over in Reichterstoffen, which is where I was earlier, well, last month I think it was, that's well worth a visit as well. Now, we have another of our own films coming out this time, and in some ways this goes right back to the very beginning, I guess, of our love affair with electric machines. And again, I've got to dredge it off my computer, so talk amongst yourselves while I find it. It is this one.
So this is our 19 C1E battery-powered mini excavator. This was our first battery-powered excavator on the market, and indeed the world's first. We launched this in 2019. We now manufacture this on 2 continents and retail on 27 countries worldwide. And this was an important starting point on our electrification journey. As part of this programme, what we've learned is that you can actually electrify anything, but it's not always sensible to do so. What makes it work is having a commercially viable product for our customers. This is one of our battery packs. So we take ourselves, we have them packaged in a robust IP-rated enclosure, and this gives us 5 kilowatt hours of energy. A machine like our 19C1 here needs typically about 20 kilowatt hours of energy to do a full working day. So we fit 4 battery packs across the rear of the machine, couple that up with a high efficiency permanent magnet electric motor, the power electronics and battery charger to make it a full electric product.
And that is pretty much where it began. I saw a comment there from Dan Cullen. Wasn't JCB the first to implement a mini electric excavator? Yes. Yes, they were. That was it. It was that very machine. Well, not that one specifically, but it was that model. They were the very first and still pioneering it now. I remember people laughing about it. Bet they're not now. No, I don't think they are. It was ahead of its time. 2019, way before we started really concerning ourselves with the planet being at boiling point and stuff. I realised we were all heading for sustainability, but I think in my mind we'd done stage 3, stage 4, stage 5 emissions. I was expecting a 6 and a 7. I wasn't expecting a time when somebody would just say, no more diesel. JCB ahead of their time. Now we do have another one of our films coming up for you, and this time we're going to swap JCB. I need to get rid of something. We're going to swap JCB for, who are we going to swap it for? Kubota, I think, is the next one up. So let me see if I can dredge that from the computer.
We are introducing our fully electric wheel loader. It's a 48 volt DC lithium battery supply. It's fully electric. We have got 2 models. We've got the 220, we've got the 210, which will have 2 different lift capacities and 2 different loading heights. We have 3 battery configurations. We've got the 260 amp hour battery, we've got the 390 amp hour battery, and what we've got fitted today in this model is the 560 amp hour battery, I do believe. For the 560, it can last 10-hour working day if it's on light duties, but if we start putting it into heavy, more arduous duties, that battery is also going to decay, so we're probably looking at anywhere from 4 to 5 hours on hard work. Now, charging times. Now, it comes with a 40 amp onboard charger, which you can upgrade to the 60 amp charger, but we also have the facility for a rapid charger, where we can get the charging down to 1.5 hours. At the moment, I'm asking our customers where do they see this going into, because as you know, our European colleagues and friends have a big market for this. I would say in the UK marketplace it's still very niche, but I would see it probably going into anything which is noise sensitive, emissions sensitive environment, anything to do with nurseries, landscaping, or possibly even like anything to do with animals. On compact products, I would say there's a big future for electrification. I would say the hydrogen, I think we'll see on the larger machines, but I think going forward in the world, I think we're going to see a mixed portfolio of power sources. There's research going on with alternative fuels for a combustion engine, but I think the long-term future, I think we will be seeing electrification on compact products. Straight away, we have confidence in the product. It's proven, we have a very strong name. First point of call is that we're offering, as standard, a 2 years, 2,000 hour warranty on all our construction products across the board. Also, we have a very strong established dealer network, which has had strong commitments to product training, which can give you national coverage.
Yeah, I have to say I was pretty impressed with that, and so was Dan Cullen, who says that Kubota is electrifying. Looks a handy little tool, but he also goes on to say, he spoke true words, a niche in the UK at the moment. Yeah, we're not really big on our compact wheel loaders, but he did mention the fact that it was electrifying, so... It's electrifying! Yep, still not bored with that. I do want to throw back to something that Al Grierson said. This is about JCB. Like the statement about needing a viable product for the market. So many hastily riveted electric machines at Balmer, just a cube on the back where the engine used to be. There was two things that the guy from JCB said that really resonated with me. That was one of them. The other thing that he said was, we've proved that we can electrify anything. We've also proved that sometimes it's not sensible to do so. And in actual fact, that conversation, if you go and check the Diggers and Dozers YouTube channel, that conversation actually goes on to talk about all things hydrogen in actual fact, because JCB have gone up the scale, up the product range, got to some of their excavators and decided maybe electric is not the way forward. Maybe, just maybe, hydrogen is the way forward. And obviously JCB are now a pioneer in all things hydrogen as well. It's a wonder they didn't go electrifying their excavators. If you're talking about Kubota, I'm sure it's only a matter of time, although obviously Kubota are an engine manufacturer, much as JCB are, so I'm sure they are clinging on to like grim death to all things to do with diesel. Now, I'm going to quickly remind you, there is a prize up for grabs tonight. There it is. It is an electric, it's a wireless mobile phone charger. Those are the words I was looking for, a wireless mobile phone charger. It's up for grabs. All you need to do is follow the instructions that are going across the bottom of the screen there. Just type electric, ELECTRIC, into the chat. How many are we up to? I think we're on about a dozen. Yeah, we're on a dozen at the moment. So you've got a 1 in 12 chance of winning that wireless charger. It's time for another one of our films. And this, and very kind of you, there is Dan Cullen saying good luck to everyone on the prize. And there's James Lane actually entering. I think he may have already entered. No, he hadn't. He has now. We're on 13. Unlucky for some. Hopefully not for the winner. Now we've got another one of our own films. Now, I didn't know you could do that. James Lane, thought I'd add it on Facebook chat as well as YouTube. I didn't realise you could enter twice under different guises, but apparently you can. So he's now got he's got a 2 in 13 chance of winning. He's just skewed the odds in his favour. As I said, we've got another film of our own coming up right now, and I've got to dredge this one off the computer. This one is one that we shot while we were in the Czech Republic earlier this year with those fine folks at Bobcat. So let me see if I can find that. It looks a bit like this.
Hi, I'm Kaylin Maulding, and I work out of the North America Bobcat headquarters, and my focus is on electrification and our strategy, where we're headed as an organization from an innovation perspective. And this is the S7X. It's a prototype right now. For the most part, all the components in this machine are the same components in the T7X, except for we have the electric drives that are added to this machine. The biggest thing that we're continuing to work on is the software tuning, and we're getting closer. And then we're gonna move into full-on test and move to production. You can see it has a 60 kilowatt battery. It has all of the electric modules and drives that run the machine. Has full electric ball screw actuators. And so what this does is, when we're talking about strategy, which you maybe heard if you've talked about the T7X, but it's really about how can we optimize this platform beyond just replacing a battery, right? So when you go full electric, it now opens up your can basically to everything that you can do with this machine, and it's a software platform. You can really hone the software to make it more user-friendly for your customers. You can do a lot more with the machine, hone it for specific operators. If one operator wants more power in certain areas, you can now do that with this machine. And so it is different than a diesel. It is different than just replacing a battery. And so it allows you to have more power. The cost of maintenance is a lot lower. You grease the actuators once every 5,000 hours. So it's like one time in its lifetime that you're gonna grease it. Has eco-friendly coolant, and that's about it as far as fluid. So if you think about all the cost that goes into maintenance of a diesel machine, this has 1/10 of the operating costs of a diesel. It is more when you look at the first outright expense, but when you look at the lifetime of the machine, it definitely has value. The software features, two of the biggest ones that we hear about from customers is the beast mode. It gives you a lot more power in a small increment if you want to, burst through a pile or something like that. And then it also has like bucket shake feature, which we can show you as well. But this machine also, I guess, since you guys know the T7X has about a runtime of about 4 hours of operation. This has double that. So this is 8 hours of runtime, continuous runtime. So when you think about a diesel machine at idle, it's consuming diesel fluid, right? At idle, this is not consuming any power. So when you are talking 8 hours of operation, it is 8 hours of actual runtime that you're actually doing work. If the machine is just on, it's not consuming battery power. So it gives you kind of an idea of what 8 hours actually looks like. We are developing electric attachments. So since these do not have hydraulics, we are working on electric attachments. The main three that we're really focused on right now is the auger, grapple, and ankle broom. We do have a snow blower in the works, and we did do some snow blowing with this in tests, and it got about 6 hours of runtime. So it just shows you, up to 8 at optimum, but when you're running other electric attachments and such, it's going to be a little lower.
Yeah, going to pop back to the chat. James Lane says, with my farming hat on, rarely see skid steers on farms, except for maybe pig or poultry. I think they're quite popular on arable farms in the States. Guess the telehandler isn't king there. Interestingly, while we were in Czech Republic, we met a guy whose father had actually invented the machine that would go on to become the Bobcat, and that was designed for turkey farms. So yeah, these things come full circle, don't they? Really great example how electric can be used. Operator control setup, very interesting. Yeah, particularly if you think you've got multiple operators, have them all set for themselves, have them set for the attachments that they're using, and also the very fact that Bobcat are working on electric attachments, so no more nasty fluids about the place. Very true on cost, but what about the cost of electricity? Obviously, that is a concern, particularly as we're coming off the back of an energy crisis and a major price hike, but it's a good question. And James Lane agrees. Well, yeah, this is the question. Idling is a good point. How much fuel is wasted when idling? I've spoken to a bunch of manufacturers about this, and in some applications, you're talking about somewhere between 40 and 60% of fuel is just burnt idling the machine. Wow, that's electrifying those Bobcats. And 8 hours, yeah, 8 hours obviously depends on application and everything else. You know, you have to hedge your bets on this, but he does say the word he does say the word electrifying. It's electrifying. Thanks, John. Let's go back to Al Grierson. What has he got to say? Depends on the cost of power in Norway, which is self-sufficient on green energy. The electric machines break even extremely quickly, despite the higher purchasing cost. And there is another point. I don't know what it's doing in Norway. I don't know what it's doing in Luxembourg. I don't know what it's doing in Germany and all these other countries. But here in the UK, electric machines are currently carrying a premium of something like 1.7 to 1.8%, 1.8 times. So if your diesel is going to cost you 10,000 quid, then your electric equivalent is going to cost you 18,000 quid or thereabouts. That's something we do still need to overcome, but we're getting there. Ken Hatcher says, how are we keeping the heater hot in the winter with no engine running? I'm cold enough now. And that's another, I've asked the question. I've asked it of lots of people. It's another draw on that battery. So does that affect your 8 hours runtime? I would imagine it probably does. I don't suppose there's a huge demand from an in-cab heater, but there will be a demand and it will impact on your working time. No question about it. James Lane, back again. Yeah. Al, if you can generate power for the machines on site, then you're self-sufficient. Not sure setting up sites with solar panels isn't feasible. Think about that from I know we're talking about construction primarily, but James is very much from a farming background. If you've got a farm operation where you've got cattle sheds or sheds of some sort of kind where you can put solar panels on the roof, you are basically fueling your electric machines free of charge. Dan Cullen, Ken Hatcher, wear a heavier coat. Yeah, as my dad used to say, no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothes. Graham Williams says summertime when you got your air conditioning going as well. Yeah, it's all going to be a draw. All going to be a draw. New Holland are going big into methane. Well, let's face it, farms have plenty methane. Does this mean you actually plug your cow in? Put a pipe where the methane comes out. Uncomfortable for the cow, but you're getting it on tap. Gary Muirhead, diesel night heater, Ken. It's a thought. These new Bobcats are sealed up. James Lane says, I'd like that Helly Hansen coat she had on. They are available. I haven't got one. I have their gilet. I was wearing it earlier today. It's probably on the floor behind me because I'm too lazy to hang the damn thing up. Bobcat, if you're into branded clothing, Bobcat, one of the best. Bet the heater uses lots of kilowatts, maybe infrared heating, says Ken Hatcher. If you had infrared, maybe you could heat up your lunch as well. Never know. Right, I think we've got more films to bring you. In actual fact, I do need to remind you, we've got three more films to bring you tonight. That means that at most, you have about 10 minutes now in which to type the word electric into the chat for your chance to win the Kinsoffer wireless phone charger. We don't just throw these shows together. When we're talking electric, we do electric prizes as well. So now's your chance. Let me have a very quick look, throw over there and see how we're doing. We have 14 entries, so still time, everybody. Now, two things. Tim Meany has just popped up. Tim says replacement costs up front for battery banks would help knowing what you're investing in, perhaps. Good point. And Tim has also put a message up for Dan Cullen to drop him a line. Dan, meet Tim. Tim, meet Dan. Go talk amongst yourselves. Garvin at Mostly Diggers. It's been raining like crazy the last 2 days. My cab heater has been on all the time, blowing hot air. Definitely needed when your clothes get wet, getting in and out of the machine. I would have frozen without that heat. It's a good point. It's a very good point. I've got the Helly Hansen big puffer coat. And wow, it's hot. Yeah, I have to say, it wasn't Helly Hansen. I was given a Gore-Tex coat once with a lining in it. Unwearable, so bloody hot. Was it Wacker that came out with Bob the Battery? Yes, it was. It's the Battery One battery, or Bob for short. I realise that's two batteries. The Battery One battery, Bob. But yes, it is Wacker Neuson, and we've got a film coming up about Bob at some Bob. For those of you that remember Blackadder, you'll know where I was going with that. The windows will also fog up in this weather if you don't have hot air. Just turn on this show, full of the stuff. Is there any chance of a Volvo hat anytime, please? Don't believe don't appear to have one of those going spare, Graham, but if I do come up with one, I'll let you know. Do the machines come with a 15-year battery warranty like Toyota cars? They cost a fortune. Good question, and I don't know the answer to that. Play, you swine. Tim Mini, I'm on Facebook at Dan Cullen. There you go. You guys can chat amongst yourselves. I think I saw Neuson do some forestry kit. I think that was John Deere engines, but possibly a use of electric in that scenario. Yes, John Deere and Neuson do have something going on, particularly in forestry. Can't remember exactly what it is, but there you are. Or Mark has my number if you like. Yes, Tim, if you want Dan's number, let me know and I'll fire that over. What only works in daylight? I think that's a follow-on from that one. Okay, so I've reminded you of all of that. Now, the other thing, go away. We've just had another entry. Does that take us to 15? It does. We've got 15 entries for our competition. I'm going to remind you one last time because we've just got 3 films left. Type electric into the chat for your chance of winning a Kinzoffer wireless phone charger. Now, the first of our final 3 films was one that we shot ourselves, and we shot it during plant works earlier this year, and it features a very smart machine from the fine folks at Sunward. Once again, need to dredge it off my computer, so bear with me while I do that. It looks a bit like that.
Hello everybody, I am Hans Driessen. I work for Sunward Europe. I'm the product manager for the Earthmoving equipment. We are here at Plantworks 2023, and I would like to show you the 2-ton electric machine which we display for the first time in the UK. So this is the 2-ton electric machine. It has a 20 kilowatt hour battery capacity and a 8 kilowatt power electric motor. We have 2 possibilities to charge the machine. The first possibility is a slow charge. It takes 7 hours. You need the power supply of a 16 amp standard wall contact, which is available in each kitchen. The second possibility to charge the machine is a fast charger, and then you can charge the machine in 1.7 hours. The machine can work between 4 to 6 hours. Of course, it depends very much about the workload of the machine. The ideal customer is the customer who wants to have a machine which has 0 emissions at point of use. Applications can be to work in the city center. In the morning, it's a very quiet machine. You cannot hear it. And also for tunneling. In some countries, you have the government will help you because you need to do, for example, road construction with 0 emissions.
Now, Ken Hatcher, I don't know if anybody spotted him. I couldn't, but he says, I remember you filming that. We did 3 films, I think, on the Sunward stand, and Ken Hatcher and Nick Drew were in the background of at least 2 of them. Didn't see him in that one, but he was certainly there. Let's have a look. Graham Williams says, Kinzoffer, very good bits of kit. Awesome. Their stuff is, yes, I totally agree. Yeah, 15 entries, electrifying prize. He said electrifying again. Must be one of the biggest entries so far. No, we've actually been up to 60 or 70, I think, on one occasion. Although I do think it was a fairly big prize. I think it was like a remote control machine or something like that. Can't remember what it was, but it was certainly a lot bigger than that. I don't know. That looked like a toy at first. Sunward look a lovely piece of kit. Do you know, I was pleasantly surprised. I saw Sunward equipment, must be about 5 or 6 years ago, and it looked, in the nicest possible way, as primitive as all hell. It looked like it had been made out of Meccano. But then the Chinese went away, thought about it, decided they were actually going to take Europe seriously, spruced up the machines, and when they came back, as I say, at Plantworks earlier this year, pretty damn impressive, I have to say. And I have to say the electric machine was one of the better of the machines that they had on display. Now, we've just had Sunward, and you know how it is with the Chinese. You have one, and then you fancy another one immediately afterwards. Well, we've got precisely that. We've got one from our friends at XCMG, if I can find it. No, this one's actually uploaded already, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, here we go. A little bit bigger this time. Now, I'm going to throw over to the chat. Al Grierson says, I like how the Chinese rigid three-axle dump trucks go from 1980s designs straight to something that time-travelled from the future. It's very true. And also, interesting, I think, with XCMG, that they are hedging their bets. Obviously, they've got that electric, which is a real thing. I know it looked like a prototype, but it exists. It's a real living, breathing thing. But they've also got mining trucks of the same size running on methanol as well. Interesting point. Now, obviously, that was a fairly quick Chinese. Our birthday boy, his Chinese is a little bit slower. Chinese is taking its time, and I'm on my second beer. Don't fill yourself up. Don't overreach on the cider. Now we're talking. What a tune! Looks like a machine to be reckoned with. Electrifying dump trucks. This is probably my last chance, so I'm going to play it again. And I'm sorry if you're bored, but I'm not. It's electrifying. Thank you. Right, we're going to come to our final film right about now. This is really your last call. What are we at? We're still at 15 entries for the competition. If you're here and you're lurking in the background and not saying anything, that's fine. You're more than welcome to do that. But please type the word electric into the chat for your chance. This is your final call. The final film is 2 minutes long, so you've got exactly that long to actually type the word electric into the chat. That's your prize. It is a wireless phone charger from Kinsoffer. That's our final warning on that, and now we're on to our final film. I said at the very outset that we have 2 mentions of Volvo tonight. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't feature the same film, the same company twice. But as I said at the very top of the show, in my opinion, Volvo is currently carving itself a very nice spot at the top of the electric equipment tree. So it seems fitting that we should end on the same company again. So here's Volvo. Get typing electric into the chat.
My name is Peter Holmberg. I work as a Volvo excavator operator. I was given the opportunity to operate the Volvo EC 25 electric on the world-famous Chelsea Flower Show this year. This is my list of benefits with operating this machine. First on the list is the superior responsiveness that the EC 25 provides. Compared to a diesel engine, the electric motor reacts quickly with a high torque. It gives you really good and precise digging feeling. The machine is equipped with a new display that gives more information to the operator. It is really easy to understand and gives the operator information about charge level as well as instant power consumption. One of the most striking things when you're approaching the electric excavator is how silent it operates. It provides a calmer, safer and more pleasant working environment. With the Volvo EC 25 electric, you don't have to handle any fuel. You only connect it to the power grid, clean and safe for the operator. You can work in closely surroundings, such as hedges, trees, flowers, without burning them. with no engine vibrations and exhaust fumes. It will create a much better working environment for the operator and people around.
There's some fantastic stuff going on in the chat at the moment. But first of all, I want to throw over to this one from Adam Phillips. Adam, thank you very much indeed for joining us from LinkedIn. You in actual fact, you may have done it already. I think you may have tipped over because yes, you have. You are now entered in our prize draw because you've used the word electric in your comment. Your comment was, Volvo have been trying the electric loader and excavator at the Eden project in Cornwall. I've heard good feedback. We actually featured that on this morning's show, the Breakfast Show. If you go over to YouTube, you can still, or Facebook or wherever, actually on LinkedIn as well, you can find that. It's there for you to see. James Lane asking about the XCMG. Is that dump truck autonomous? I don't believe it is, but XCMG are really forging ahead with autonomous machines, particularly in the compaction side of things. I've mentioned this before, yet to see it in action, but they have what they describe as an autonomous hub. So you have the paver, which is actually spitting out bitumen and tarmac out the back of the machine, and that is basically telling all of the rollers behind it where to go, what to compact, how much to compact, and everything else. Real class leading stuff, I would say. I wonder if it's good practice to let the battery go completely flat before charging. All of these are questions that I don't think we've actually addressed yet. Obviously, there was that thing on the early doors mobile phones, never let it go completely flat because it will deteriorate the battery. And no, wasn't the other way around? If you charge it before it's completely empty, you basically deteriorate it. I think we're past that now, but that's an interesting point. Another one that I thought was an interesting one, Dan Cullen says, now that's a question on electric machines. Will plant operators consist of on the machines? You'd have to think that the card providers and the training organizations will be out there right about now rubbing their hands together thinking, we can charge them all over again. You'd have to think that's going to be coming. Such a different world to farming. You need a telehandler license and one to spray chemicals, but nothing to operate a 500 horsepower tractor. That's because A, farming is sensible, and B, farming feeds the country. And if training organizations decided we need a card for everything like in construction, farmers would say, okay, starve then, you buggers. That's where we've missed a trick, I think. With the torque you get, will you get the same feeling as you do on a fuel machine, as you know, by engine sound or overloading it? It's an interesting point. And the first time I really noticed this wasn't on a pure electric, it was on a hybrid. Once you get past, or certainly once I got past the first 3 or 4 minutes of driving a hybrid excavator, I'd kind of tuned out the fact that it didn't make a noise. And I was just into the fact that this machine is the fastest slewing machine I've ever sat on. It really was lightning fast. Much the same with a Tesla. I've driven a couple of Teslas now. And once you get over the fact that the only noise you hear is tire slap, you get tuned into the machine. So it is an interesting point. Personally, when you think about it, Dan, you think about what you do for a living. You could be on a Kubota one day, a JCB the next, Hitachi after that, Komatsu after that. You quickly become attuned because that's what you do for a living. I reckon you take an electric machine in your stride. Let's have a look. Shantui has an electric dozer weighing 17 tons, which puts it between a modern Cat D4 and Cat D5 size. Not sure if it has a real use case at the moment. Maybe not over here, but you see lots of them. I mean, obviously Shantui, Chinese, but you see them, lots of them in Cambodia, Vietnam, and those sort of places. They've really cornered a bit of a market there. I would imagine. I don't suppose anyone at Caterpillar is actually losing sleep over them, but I bet they've noticed. Fascinating. I can see how that would work well as a set route and depth of tarmac. Yeah, that's the autonomous hub that I was talking about. James Lane goes on to say, if it's anything like iPhones, and after 18 months, it will have an awful battery. Yeah, this one is about 18 months old, and we're now at I think 93% is the most I can hope for. Farming is one of the most dangerous industries. True, Mark, says James Lane. It is one of the most dangerous. One of the tip of the top when it comes to accidents and fatalities, but we can't do without it. Never particularly fancied working on one, but I'm very grateful for those that do. Now it is time. I've already said it. It is time to find out who has won our wireless charger. It would be appropriate if it were to turn out to be our friend Graham Footy Williams, on the basis that it's his birthday today, but I can't fix these things. Adam Phillips, have you spoken about the Mechalak E12? Real world work cycles have been impressive. We had no Mechalak on the show tonight. Oversight on my part, probably. Please feel free to send me rude messages. I'm a Mechalak fan, and I'll go on the record to say so. I'm a Mechalak fan, but I've not included them tonight. My new iPhone 15 Pro is on its way, says Ken Hatcher. Enough of mobile phones. Let's find out who's won our, well, I say enough of mobile phones. Obviously, if Ken has got one coming, he's going to need a wireless charger for it, possibly. I'll come back to the chat in just a second. So let's find out. I think we ended up with 16 entries. We did. Let's find out who is going to win our wireless charger. Here we go. Mark Whiting. Mark Whiting, you are the proud owner of that beauty. I'm too small on the screen to show you that. You're proud owner of that beauty, the Kinsoffer wireless phone charger. Congratulations, Mark. I think I've got your address. Can't swear by it. So if I haven't already, please let me have it. Going back to the chat where Ken Hatcher was talking about his new iPhone 15 Pro. Ken Hatcher, small mortgage required. Yeah, what is it, about 1,500 quid, something like that, I would imagine. Congratulations to Mark Whiting. You enjoy it, absolutely. Congrats, Mark. Al Grissom has just breathed a heavy sigh of relief because it means he won't have to pay customs to get it into Luxembourg, I'm sure. Dan Cullen, well done, Mark. Tim Whiting says well done as well. So Mark Whiting and Tom Whiting. Anything going on there that I need to know about? Brothers, cousins, fathers, sons, completely unrelated. Don't know why I've only just noticed that, but yeah, Mark Whiting. Make sure you let me have your address and I'll get that in the post for you tomorrow. Too late to get it in the post for you now, but I'll do it tomorrow. Now, before I head over to the chat to finish this whole sorry business off, let me quickly remind you, there will be another Breakfast show tomorrow, 10 a.m. as per usual. But in addition to that, I'm going to be back here again tomorrow. God, you're going to be bored with me. I'm going to be back here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for the world premiere of our brand new film. It's called The Fourth Way. The film charts the top-down way tower block demolition system that I went to see in Milan a few weeks ago with our friends over at Despe. We'll be showing that film in public for the first time tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So please join us if you possibly can. My dad's called Mark, but I don't think it's him. I love the fact that you're not entirely sure. James Lane says, great show, Demolition News. Cheers, James. Much appreciated. Good to see you here as well, my friend. Glenn Johnston, well done, Mark. Absolutely brilliant. And there is Mark Whiting himself taking in the applause. Demolition as well, and Robocop. Not sure what that's about. Awesome. I'll set an alarm. Good stuff. Yes, 7 p.m. tomorrow. I'll be back. The film itself is 11 and a bit minutes. So I'm not going to be taking up your whole evening like I have tonight. But it is the world premiere. So please join us if you can. Congratulations, Mark. Very impressive show tonight. Glad I didn't miss it. And great work to you and Fred. Thank you very much indeed. I had Fred working like a slave this afternoon, putting together all the bits and pieces that we filmed in the past year or so. So thank you very much indeed. Graham, do we have Demolition, whatever her name is, and Robocop holding her hand? Not at the moment. Is Demi on the show tomorrow? She's not on the show tomorrow as far as I know. And if you don't know who Demolition is, I'm just going to leave that hanging. She's an AI news anchor. If you haven't seen her, you're lost. You need to tune into the Breakfast Show. People, go and have a fantastic evening. I've got fish and chips when I leave here. So I'm not going to hang around. Everybody, thank you very much indeed for being here. Congratulations to Mark Whiting. Thanks for all your input. Gary Muirhead, special thanks to you for coming up with the idea of an all-electric show. Maybe at some point in the not too distant future, we could be doing an all-hydrogen show. Wouldn't that be good? Little way off yet, I think, but yeah, you never know. So everybody, go and have a fantastic evening. Tim Meaney, give me a shout, says Dan Cullen, and there is Tim Meaney saying night everyone. Night to you, Tim, as well. Everybody, go have an evening. I'm off to eat fish and chips. I'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Don't forget, no show on Friday. All methane. All methane. Probably stink. Yeah. Yes. I'm going to do the all methane show from upwind, if you don't mind. People, go. Have an evening. I'll see you all very soon. Take care.